We're here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for the final round of Formula 3 in 2024. The session's underway. We're just getting things set up. Let's cross over to our commentators, Chris McCarthy and Alex Brundle.
Different on all of the different permutations, but it's going to come down to brilliant slipstreaming racing between these Formula 3 cars, and I can't wait to watch it.
They made it. They made it quite a difficult job for us to work out, didn't they?
It's 15 pages. The document Chris McCarthy's put together on all the different things that can happen throughout this weekend. Outstanding work, as always, in the background, Mr. McCarthy. But at the end of the day, it's all about who breaks latest.
Exactly that. It's going to be another fantastic showdown. We've had great showdowns here over the past, not to mention 2 years ago. Of course, we have a new driver. We'll get into the championship situation. We welcome a new driver. Let's go through the stages of how that happened, shall we? First of all, congratulations to a driver that has won here twice, Franco Colapinto. He took a record-equaling 4th win here 2 years ago, last year, and with that, down the chain means Noah Stromstead, with all the changes that happened, Noah Stromstead, a late call-up for him. He will be racing for Campos Racing, his FIA Formula 3 debut this weekend. What an opportunity for the Danish driver. He becomes the first Danish driver on the grid in 2 years. A great opportunity for him. He's been racing in Freca this year. It's where he made his Freca debut, actually, 2 years ago, and he stood on the podium, the rookie podium, the first time he jumped in the car. Has had 4 rookie wins in that championship this year, 2 overall podiums. Let's see how he gets on.
Yeah, made his progression in a relatively traditional way, hasn't he? Throughout the regional series, first in his home nation and then moving up through the series. As you say, his debut in a Formula 3 car, difficult weekend to do it with everybody else very much up and running with a full year behind them. But we're on board with one of our championship protagonists, Chris, Arvid Lindblad.
Yes, 6 of them in total. Let's hear from the youngest one of them, Arvid Lindblad, the Red Bull Junior.
I think I've had a really strong rookie year, definitely better than I anticipated. I think I've sort of shown what I can do, and I'm going into this weekend trying to bounce back after 2 poor weekends in Spa and Budapest, and try to just finish the season on a high, and then obviously wherever we finish in the championship, it is what it is. But I'd want to, obviously being a racing driver, I want to try and win, but I don't think that's the main objective.
Great to hear from Arvid Lindblad there, one of the drivers in contention for this championship. So is Dino Beganovic. Let's pick up on the point we were saying. We have Noah Stromstead in the championship. One of the things all of these guys are pushing for is Formula 1. And congratulations to Franco Colapinto, the 3rd current FIA Formula 3 alumni driver on the grid, the 6th graduate to go up. What an opportunity for him to jump in that Williams racing car for the rest of the season.
Huge opportunity for him, progression throughout the feeder series calendar. I remember him setting pole position in his first ever Formula 3 race.
Yes.
back in Bahrain. He's always been a bit of a standout throughout the feeder series calendar. It's great to see him get that opportunity, and in turn, Ollie Goethe, of course, leaving our shores here in Formula 3 and moving up into Formula 2.
Yes, he just wanted to make things maybe slightly easier for the graphics team to fit six people into a slot rather than 7. Yes, good luck to Ollie Goethe going up to Formula 2 this weekend. He would have been in contention for this title mathematically, but he's going to jump on up to Formula 2, to the slot that has become available with MP Motorsport. He's a race winner, was one of the most consistent drivers in terms of points as well, won on a huge run of 13 points finishes. So good luck to Ollie Ollie Goethe, we wish him all the best. Shall we go through those points then? So we've got Leo Fornaroli leading. Alex, he's never led a championship going into a season finale before in his single-seater career, so this is brand new territory for him. Gabriele Mini 1 point behind, so the Tifosi are in a bit of a split there as to who they cheer for, or they've just got 2 drivers to cheer for. Luke Browning, 6 points then behind. All of those 3 drivers guaranteed to be battling for the championship comes the Sunday feature race, whatever happens.
Absolutely. Fornaroli, interestingly enough, not won a race this year.
No.
6 times a podium finisher throughout this Formula 3 season, but very much in line here, unless he manages to grab a win here in Monza, for what one might consider a gentleman's championship, where
yes.
you take the championship spoils without having won a race throughout the year. But he's got a lot of pressure from behind in terms of Mini and Luke Browning, who are as close as makes sort of no difference coming into an extreme weekend such as Monza always is with these Formula 3 cars in terms of points. It's a bit of a swerve as well, as we see Gabriele Mini, that championship second place man, getting wide out of Lesmo 2. A bit of a curveball here in that the circuit's been entirely resurfaced, and you can see those of you who are used to watching these cars around this place year on year. One of the oldest venues on the Formula 1 calendar is Monza. That some of the curbs have been changed. The whole circuit looks darker in terms of its tarmac colour as well. So an element of the data that teams will have picked up over previous years will have to be thrown in the bin here, alongside it being the lowest downforce specification circuit of the year, and as such an easier track to overtake on, and all about race day. So drivers are going to have to...
Oh, TV picture's gone for a second. Still got across the line for Mini though, with a 1:41.324 across the board.
Good point for him, would fully confirm his place in contention for feature race Sunday. For the others, Dino Beganovic, Christian Mansell need to make ground on the championship leaders if they are to stay.
Pictures again. Something must be going on from the circuit. As we still get
aggressiveness, those curbs on the outside of the second Lesmo. I'm also a happy racing driver because they've taken the big bollards away from the apex of both the first chicane, the Retafilo chicane, and also the Roger chicane, where I've seen so many nasty incidents over the years, and replaced them with gravel. So happy days on that.
We'll talk before we go into some of the rest of the field one more time. I mean, they've had a huge amount of time to think about this championship fight, where we've had a summer break. How's that going to be for the drivers? I mean, particularly for the top 2, home ground. Never an Italian winner here, never an Italian champion in FI Formula 3 or GP3. How do these drivers come and attack this weekend? Yellow flag at Sector 2 might leave us something else to briefly talk about. We're hearing Lindblad might have gone wide, but it's going to be, do you go into this as a driver trying to distract yourself from that, or do you fully attack?
Well, it was the 28th of July last time they raced these cars, so that gives you a feel for just how long they've been out of the saddle. And it does make a difference, you know, it takes a little bit of time just to get your braking point, your touch on the brake pedal absolutely right, keep the attitude of the car how you want it, especially into these big braking zones, especially at Monza where all the downforce is peeled away from the car and you have to get that touch on the brakes absolutely right, otherwise you lock it up. We are likely to see a bit of rustiness, first in qualifying, and that's a little bit of rustiness perhaps for Arvid Lindblad through the exit of the second Lesmo that looks particularly slippery this morning. But in qualifying, as they try to deliver that first round of laps, and secondarily on the first lap of the race, I do believe, along with it being a big braking zone down into the first chicane, also rustiness at this stage of the season with the long summer break is what leads to a lot of the contact we often see down at that turn 1 section.
Noah Stromstead, we get our first look at him on a flying lap. The Frecker graduate in for this weekend for Campos Racing. Let's see what he can do. We saw Josh Dufek come into this round last year. Let's see what Noah Stromstead can do as he takes us across the line.
Yeah, it's a very, very long run, 308 kilometers an hour as they brake for the first chicane. It has, they have given them a bit of extra space, and Stromsted's going to need all of it through the first part of turn 1. The profile of the track, though, has not changed at all. Got to make sure you get hard in the traction. Curva Grande, of course, absolutely flat out. Circuit looking extremely dusty at the moment. We've got a stop car then in sector 3.
That's Kasper Stuka said.
Yeah, Kasper Stuka stopped, and this will be a virtual safety car deployment out there on the circuit right now, so VSC.
Like he'll need to be recovered there. That doesn't look like it's going to go any further. And that's a virtual safety car. So Kasper Stuka has come to a stop. Let's see if he can get that one back going again. He's come to he stopped it at a pretty convenient place for the marshals, thankfully.
Could well have been a bounce over the curb on the exit of the Ascari chicane, I'm thinking, that may have caused an issue there. But he's ground to a halt for whatever reason, potentially a reliability issue as well for Stuka. He's rather a long way there from the entry into the support race paddock, which is where they might have to drag him back into, or they may choose to drag him to the outside of the Parabolica, as Kimi Antonelli watches on alongside Oliver Behrman. Two drivers, well, one driver definitely Formula One bound, another driver very much on the high probability end of being Formula One bound for next season, as we watch the virtual safety car continue and the marshals do their work on Stuka.
The only place they've shared a podium, actually. Let's see if that won't change in Italian F4 2021. They shared it in all 3 races. Behrman won all 3. On his way to winning the title, Kimi would win it next year. Luke Browning in his car. What a famous podium it is. Everyone wants to make that long walk, don't they, over the podium. I remember getting to walk it once myself, not as a driver.
A little bit of a moment down towards the first chicane. Learning all the time, and it is dusty out there. It is really, really dusty. So often when circuits are resurfaced like this, there's been a lot of sort of earthworks around the relay of the tarmac, and that can lend a lot of dust and dirt to the racing surface. It'll rubber in as they go on through the weekend. Pirelli, interestingly enough, reckon it'll increase the tyre degradation, the new surface here.
Right.
So it's always considered a low degradation racetrack because of the number of corners and also the nature of those corners. But Pirelli feeling that the new surface may add a little bit to the degradation of the tyres, so that's going to be interesting to watch throughout the weekend.
Here we can see Prima just having a look at Lindblad's car. We did see him go off into the gravel at Lesmo 2. So they're just now investigating that car. And here's a look at why they are looking at that car, Alex.
A little bit of gravel rash, and it does affect the cars aerodynamically, and he's gone off relatively quickly there. Wide racetrack in some areas here in Monza, and it's often deceptive as to how quickly you're going as a driver. Until the circuit narrows back down again and you go, goodness me, I probably should get on the brakes by now. This is one of those areas, the Ascari chicane. You run wide through the exit of the Lesmos, and then suddenly the circuit seems to tighten under the bridge as you pass underneath the old banking, and you think, go quite fast here. I better jump on the brake pedal and slow the car down through that first left-hander. But Lindblad slowed it down through the gravel, unfortunately, through the exit of the second Lesmo, and finds himself with a little bit of work to do to fix the front edge of that floor.
Leo Fornaroli will be out in the first group of qualifying later, so we're going to have a new format, 2 groups of qualifying, very similar to what we have at Monaco, where we're going to send them out in 2 groups, and the quicker group will form the inside row of the grid, the slower group the outside row of the grid. Leo Fornaroli will be in that first group, so will Gabriele Mini, so will Luke Browning. That's going to be the even-numbered cars in Group A, the odd-numbered cars in Group B, which was drawn at the drivers' briefing yesterday. Dino Beganovic and Arvid Lindblad will be in Group B. So shorter sessions for both of them, 2 groups.
It's a good idea. I'm interested to see how it plays out. The differential that I would draw to Monaco is in Monaco, drivers are actively trying to find a space. There are just too many drivers on track. In Monza, they are not. They're actively trying to find a tow. So you might end up with 2 groups of 15 drivers all still lined up on the apex of the parabolica, trying to get a tow from each other. But it does mean that if you do want a space as a driver, you can have one. The problem is that they sometimes don't. And as a result, it's going to be interesting to see if we still have the issue of drivers queuing up, despite the fact that there are less Formula 3 races on the racetrack.
It'll be 2 13-minute sessions, and Leo Fornaroli, our championship leader, will be in that first group. And we spoke with our championship leader, Leo Fornaroli, about his chances of winning this FIA Formula 3 title yesterday.
For me, it's amazing to be back on top, because before Budapest I was 26 points behind the leader. So with the consistency I had during all the season, I managed again to be back in the lead. And yeah, now we are here, and let's see what we can do.
Good to hear from Leo Fornaroli, trying to win his first single-seater title, similar to what we had Gabriel Bortoleto do. What a break it would be for him. Of course, Bortoleto to winning the title into a McLaren Junior program and now fighting for the Formula 2 title. You can see what winning a title in a Formula 1 paddock can do to your career, and Leo Fornaroli will know exactly that.
Driver who hasn't been out of the points since the Red Bull Ring, which is the consistency to which he alludes. We've been talking about the dream of a home race win here. That'd be quite a moment. Be quite a moment for either he or Gabriele Mini, wouldn't it? This weekend in front of a home crowd. We know how passionate the home crowd is here in Monza, and there'll be a huge amount of support. I would expect a bigger crowd than usual, actually, for the Formula 3 events here. It's going to be great to see these two go at it around a venue that they'll know so well from their Junior Series exploits. Flat out on the throttle then for Fornaroli, taking the shortest distance underneath that famous gantry down the Rettifilo straight line. Look to the left-hand side. The boards are very helpful. You've got way too long to think about this first braking zone, and that can often be the result inside front lock-up for Fornaroli. Climb all over the curb through the exit. Use it to widen the racetrack. Yellow flag out there in sectors 1 and 2. Let's see if we come across it, or indeed they got a little bit active on the flags, thinking Fornaroli was going to go off there. I suspect not. Used to be a bigger bridge over the Della Roggia chicane. Getting out of it then slightly for Fornaroli. Got to catch that right-hand curve, and it looks like somebody's been off through the gravel there on the exit of the Roggia.
Yeah, plenty of gravel across the road, so someone running wide through the chicane and bringing a load of gravel back onto the road for Fornaroli to sweep up, and I think that might be the car ahead of us. Let's find out who it was.
So looks like it's that McLaren Junior machine, potentially. No.
Oh, that's Taz Intrapuvizak. Yeah, he goes round.
And yeah, Intrapuvizak finds himself with a spin in the mid-corner there. You often see drivers just get a little bit feisty on the throttle.
Oh, and Sami Megatunic as well. Yeah,
Megatunic off over the outside curb. It's a relatively well-worn area, as is that, through the exit of the second Lesmo.
Yeah, Seb Montoya back on the podium for the first time since Australia 2023. Is where his father took his first Formula 1 podium. With that, we're going to bring out the red flag. I think some sweeping is needing to be done in parts of the track.
Much sweeping required through the exit of the Roggia chicane, and it's a nature of the high-speed circuit as well that actually you can't leave that much gravel out on the racetrack. If it fires out of one of the cars, they are going just so quickly around here that it can do a significant amount of damage. If drivers run their visors slightly open, it's just so easy for one of those bits of gravel to find its way inside, and that would have horrible results. So a good, smart move to get the gravel off the racetrack.
Then we see Dino Beganovic being pushed back in. We see the F3 cars out in one.
So we've got everything sorted. I'll say good morning to Omi before handing back to the World Feed, and we'll take over after the red flag. Hi Omi, so final weekend of FIA Formula 3 and the championship on the line. Oh, I can't hear Omi. Oh, I know why I can't hear Omi. My fault, Omi, hang on. Try again.
Hello.
Hello.
Finally. Right, lovely. Yes, title deciding weekend for Formula 3. Should be very exciting. Cannot wait to see who's going to come out on top 2 Italians debating for it as well, and they are the top 2 in the championship. So very exciting weekend coming our way.
I take it your handheld mic needs repairing.
A little bit.
Yeah, I thought so. That's why you're on the headset. Yeah, we could tell last week when you were crackling on the lead. No worries. Right, well, how about the world feed? We're ready for when we go back to green flag.
Now there will be 16-inch wheels, so that's a bit of information that I have. But beyond that, we're waiting to see what the new generation of car will bring, and no doubt the teams will already be trying to beaver away and get the maximum head start they possibly can on running that car. Mega Tunif having a bit of an exciting free practice session so far, finds himself a little deep through the mid corner of turn 1 over that new stripe of gravel. Now, it was Mary Boyer who was running off in the background through the runoff area, taking the new taking, I would say, the more traditional route in terms of a locked brake down towards T1.
Interesting. Not a lot of, or some good chunk of drivers yet to really put a lap in. Something we're used to seeing throughout this season now, but some viewers will be thinking, why haven't we seen Leo Fornaroli set a time? That's where we see his teammate Sami Megatunif 19th as well. He's done a 2:minute 35. Luke Browning, bottom of the standings, but last time we saw that, he went and put it on pole at Silverstone. So I don't think that will worry them, but now we're at the end of the championship. Will that be a little bit different?
Yeah, definitely. They're losing a lot of track time, aren't they, to this red flag, especially. They'll know the circuit. That won't be an issue. Yep. But what they'll be aiming to do here is get a feel for downforce level in terms of not only how much downforce to run, they clearly run much less here than they do at other venues, but also how to best balance that downforce level given the circuit conditions. The teams will have a good feel on that, but it depends a lot on the new surface. They're running a carryover tyre here from the previous event. That's the medium compound tyre that you can see on most of the cars at the moment. They will jump to the soft later on in the weekend. Teams now will be discussing whether they choose to free practice on a set of softs to give them a better feel for qualifying. But so that potential crossover will also relate to the amount of time remaining through the session as to how they now prioritise their running. So yeah, they'll know the racetrack, but they would have welcomed, I would think, this extra little bit of track time to play with to try to get a feel, especially at a circuit that doesn't damage the tyre too much, where you can get lap-on-lap feel and potentially make a beneficial adjustment to the car through the free practice session.
See Fornaroli there just making his way around the curve. Gabriele Mini currently leading the way. Kian Shields, who's definitely gotten better and better throughout the season, second place. Now he's on tracks he's more familiar with. ART, they've really taken a step back up to where we're used to seeing them this year. Lawrence Van Hoopen, third place for him. Then we have Christian Mansell, one of the 6 contenders for the championship. Nothing to lose. A welcome back to Nicholas Solov. We didn't see him at Spa. His place filled by Tuukka Tappinen as well. Nikola Solov back. 3 wins for him. He could take a record equaling 4th, joining the likes of Franco Colapinto this weekend.
All of these teams moving into the off-season need to try and demonstrate what they're capable of. Of course, Teams Championship wound up, but the teams will be looking to demonstrate their wares as they move into the Formula 3 off-season and get prepared for next season's racing. That being said, with a new car, it's kind of difficult to really do that, and all bets are off in many ways. In some way, I feel for the drivers moving into this series next year, perhaps performing well in F4 or FRECA, now having to make a decision as to what team to go with. And realistically, beyond the general competence of the teams that you're looking at, you don't know who's going to have the best car moving into the new specification.
Well, we've got 30 seconds before these cars are back out. The cars that provided such a great service to the current generation, so we say, of Formula 3 drivers. We've seen how well Oscar Piastri did when he jumped up to Formula 2, having gotten to grips with this car, the likes of Bortoletto as well, and so many others going straight up from Formula 3 and being competitive in Formula 2. It's been a fantastic spec of car, so I cannot wait to see what the next one does. But as you said, it's going to just throw an extra curveball into what is already the most competitive FIA Formula 3 Championship we are seeing this season, as we wait to see the green flag and many cars roll out. I suspect the track might be a little bit more busy this time, Alex.
Yeah, I definitely think it will. You know, they'll be looking to gain the maximum out of this session, and indeed the end of these sessions, far more relatable to the rest of the weekend as the track clears up. You can see how dusty and dirty it is out there, so they'll be aiming to take the maximum out of the track time at the end of the session. We've seen drivers like Fornaroli, like Luke Browning earlier on in the season, pretty much sit out and wait that early stage of the free practice session, not to get a curveball or not to get an incorrect read.
Well, yes, okay. That my mic's gone wrong. Well, yeah, okay, great. This is always when it starts to go funny now, when the microphones go wrong. Hello, Omi, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can.
Right, there we go, finally. Honestly, I want to take a sledgehammer to this thing today. They haven't cleared the gravel up that much. It's still on the racing line a bit as well, which isn't the best, but I suppose it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, but if you are going to have a red flag, you'd probably want to clear it all up.
Yeah.
In that one. But yeah, Luke Browning on the circuit, third in the championship, of course, hoping to take it this weekend. The top three all within a chance, really. And then we have some outsider chances as well. Ollie Goethe was meant to be in this title fight, but he has, of course, got promoted to Formula 2. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on this weekend. Noah Stromstead promoted into his place from the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. So excited to see how he's also going to get on, and some good experience for him before a full-time seat for next year.
Yeah, and I mean, Ollie Goethe heading up to F2, we'll talk about that in their practice. Well, Megan and you will talk about that in that
Yes.
session. Well, I go off and do MotoGP for 45 minutes. So that's always going to be the case. MotoGP this weekend is airing on JBMotorsports 2. Just as a heads up, so it will not be on this channel. It will be on JBMotorsports 2. And we will upload after the case. It's one of the weekends where we shove it because everything else is on JB Motorsports. We don't want to run any risks. So JB Motorsports 2 is where MotoGP will be.
Absolutely.
Might even put one on JB Extra at some point this year to try and drum up some subscribers of the new channel.
Yeah.
Still, who do you think is going to be champion anyway? With only 1 point. Oh, hello. Fornaroli just
Well,
a little
yes.
bit down there on gears.
Yeah, we've got 1 point separating Mini Fornaroli, and then Luke Browning as well. The gap isn't much at all, 6 points only. So it's nothing between those three. It's really them fighting for it. Lindblad, if things do get chaotic, or these guys do have a bad qualifying later in the two-part qualifying that we have due to the safety issues, then it could open the door as well for them. So, well, it's going to be interesting, but we have had a few drivers off form at times. Fornaroli hasn't won a race all season. That's what he'll be trying to do. But yeah, there's a chance that Fornaroli could win this championship without winning a race.
It's happened before, so
Yeah.
Oh dear, hang on. Yeah, I'm not well, by the way, if anybody's guessing. I am not well. I've got a very bad stomach upset. And my eyes are bad. In fact, I should not be in the commentary box, but nobody else is around to relieve me. So, yeah, I'm sort of stuck. Ideally, I would have taken today off and come back for tomorrow fighting fit. But it's a busy day. Fornaroli, I'm still up there. Boya does a 139.998. Megatunic 140.933. Zagazita goes 7th, 141.147. Santiago Ramos goes second, 140.279. So time's coming down, Omi, already.
Yep, time's coming in on the board. Let's see what Leonardo Fornaroli is going to be able to do as well as he makes his way now to the Scary Chicane, the driver in the championship contention right now, and he's off as Noah Leon goes quickest of all. So Noah Leon for Van Amersfoort going quickest, Boya Ramos completing the top 10, and then Dunn and Gabriele Mini, who is in the pit lane. Cian Shields also pushing on at the moment. as well. He's 5/10 off. Noah Leon as Fornaroli brings it now to the end of the lap.
Out of the last corner, the Parabolica up towards the line as well. Keep it tight to the inside towards the pit wall. It's the closest run to the line. Fornaroli only 7th, 140.908. A lot of time to be found there, just outside the second. The first driver outside of the second as well.
Yeah, indeed. That's what we can do across the line. Browning's up by 31 thousandths of a second on Noah Leon. As Shields does now come across the line. He goes into P6. And now Luke Browning, Shields' teammate. Browning's about to come over the line, getting a bit of a tow as well as we make our way to the, towards the Parabolica.
Swinging in, on board with Luke Browning in the number 14. He comes in, a little bit of oversteer coming into the first part, up towards the line. Got a nice tow, I believe, from one of the other Tridents. It's not Santiago Ramos, but Browning goes top, 139.574 with that time. And it must be Megatune if he's got the toe off, as Ramos goes into 4th place. Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a lot of slipstreaming issues this year. All the drivers chasing that toe, and lots of pileups everywhere. As Ramos has to go over the road, as Noah Leon goes fastest once again, taking it back from Luke Browning. Sophia Flash moving up to P8. Great lap time from her as well. But yeah, 2-part qualifying Monaco style as well. This weekend, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe a trial to make it permanent for next year, kind of like how Frecker do it, as we take another look at a replay of Ramos going wide.
Yeah, and this is Wisnicki down into the inside line, getting ahead of the 30, and a bit of contact between the two. At least she goes side by side now through the Rettifilio. Many people have been saying, oh, they've reprofiled it, it's a new chicane. No, it's exactly the same. They've just relaid the track. Only morons can think that the surface, the track's been reprofiled through the Rettifilio. It hasn't changed one bit. All they've changed is the tarmac, and they've taken out the silly jump curves that almost killed Lewis Hamilton. So yeah, that's all they've done.
Indeed. As Montoya now about to come to the line as well. The driver currently in P6 for Campos. Dufek up to P10. Montoya won't come over the line. He is heading into the pit lane instead with 10 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock to go. Sami Megatunif will be the next one over the line.
It's the first time that all of Monza's had a resurface in actually its entire history, because the banking had a new surface a few years ago, and then the main surface now has had a change as well, the main racetrack. So both looking brand spanking new. Still don't know why we can't use the... straight off the track there, through the gravel. And that's what you can do now at the Rettifilio. It will punish you still by going off through the gravel, but it won't launch you into the other cars at the start of the race, which is what they wanted to try and avoid after, well, sausage curves break people's backs.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sure lots of people will be cutting that part of the circuit on the opening lap when it's also tight in Formula 330 cars all down to the first braking zone, the Rettifilio, for the final time. This is usually the biggest brawl of them all on the season, the best F3 racing we get. Here, the most chaotic F3 racing we get here. We get basically everything going on here at Monza. The feature race was absolutely wild last year for all of these drivers. Should be probably something similar, also with a title on the line, unlike last year where it was decided in qualifying.
Yeah, and I missed that as well. Covering, I think, MotoGP. Yeah, something along this. Yeah, Megan's not in the MotoGP commentary box this weekend, I don't think. She might be in the sprint race at least. But I know certainly for the Grand Prix, it is, I think, interfering with the pre-show. So Megan's hosting the pre-show on Sunday for Italy. I have no idea who's in the commentary box for us on that one. JT's not here again. Jess isn't here. Might be you, Omi, alongside me and Megan.
Hello.
Hello. Basically, I think this is it for the whole weekend. Jackson's back with us for IndyCar. Josh T's back with us for IndyCar Race 2 and NASCAR. Jack's with us for NASCAR. Darlington, of course, the last race, so playoff time. So many notes to see who's going to be into the playoffs, by the way. Got a big show coming up on Sunday evening at 11 p.m. to watch that one as well. So, yeah, tune in. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
2 IndyCars, I think it's going to be great as well.
And this weekend we're also covering Porsche Supercup qualifying.
Yes, for the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, can't cover it live as there's more gravel at the exit of Lesmo 2. They might want to sort that out for the session. Yeah, we can't cover the Porsche Super Cup qualifying live, but we can cover it on delay. And Omi's going to be taking you through this weekend's Porsche, where that championship will be decided as well. I will miss it as I'm doing Moto 2. Usually we delay Moto 2 and Moto 3, but this weekend Moto 3 doesn't clash with anything, and Moto 2 does, and plus I'm not well, so it's better just to get them out of the way live rather than have to sit through and edit and delay and then take weeks. Plus it's back-to-back anyway, so it's easy to just get them done.
Yeah, indeed.
What Pablo Montoya shouting about?
He seems mad.
At the pit wall. What?
Okay. So something's happening down at Campos.
Something about when he needs to go. Juan Pablo. It's not your place to say, my friend. I'm sorry, but it's not. Juan Pablo Montoya saying that they should have released Sebastian Montoya earlier for a bit of a tow, getting very frustrated and agitated at the pit wall, and then Juan Pablo Montoya telling Sebastian to go. I don't like that. To me, that's an interference beyond his limit.
Yeah, only practice and Campos doesn't know what they are doing as well with that. But yeah, the Primo's attacking on the circuit. But yeah, with Porsche qualifying, even if it's delayed, I don't think it makes a difference. They don't really post anything on social media much that comes across anyone's feed at all.
So we'll keep an eye as Mini's middle sector is down a little bit. So he's faster overall. It's the first sector that he's down a little bit on his overall best time. But he's ahead of Norleon as he comes down towards the Parabolica. Flicks the car in, the soft compound tire. Super grip, by the way. Bitumen is rising to the surface. The track, incredibly sticky, but the tyre degradation in turn will be very, very high. 138.998 for Mini goes fastest. Lindblad goes 139.837, fourth fastest, 8.5 tenths down. But still, yeah. So it's the opposite as to what we see on other circuits where a brand new surface would be better for tyre wear. Here at Monza, because it's high speed and it's grippy, they're going to shred the tyres even more. I mean, as trimming outs goes off.
Yeah, could be a bit of conserving needed in the Formula 3 feature race, a bit of a longer distance, but they still need to make it work, as Callum Moisen also went off as well, one of the stars from Silverstone earlier this year, and he will be hoping to be a star of Monza, as will so many drivers ending the season on a high, especially the championship contenders. Cars now heading back onto the circuit, if they aren't already on the circuit. Browning backing out of the lap, allowing Mansell to go to along with Tommy Smith down to the Rettifilio chicane. But yeah, qualifying I think later on will be interesting for all of the championship contenders. I'll definitely talk you through the groups when we do get into qualifying later on. But yeah, will be very interesting to see where they're all going to qualify, and of course it'll be Monaco style, so it will be Rose, not the usual 30 minutes. Formula 2 still using the usual 30 minutes for their qualifying.
Now they have installed new barriers on the run down to the Dalla Roggia chicane, and they've got an oil slippery surface flag out there for the gravel that's been pulled up. I think, I mean, the one thing that they could have done if they were actually smart was take the gravel off the bloody areas that keep getting onto the racing circuit.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
That probably would have been smart, so then we wouldn't have needed to have red flags and stuff.
Yeah.
To sweep it, and wouldn't interfere, especially in these support series where cars are off like every second. And I think in Formula 2 we could have a driver off every second. We'll get more onto that with who's signed for AIX.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Megan has no clue what she's walking into commentate on. So very
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, good. Very much you take the lead on that. She'll deal
Yeah,
with it.
I'll be teaching her again, like last year.
Yeah. Very much just let her do the analysis bits on replays, because she'll have no idea. She's also on F3 qualifying later on, while I take the other series.
Yeah.
Mansell 139.153. as long as it comes across, not bad. Now there is a... Oh, this is Gabriel Mini.
What's he done?
Down the brakes. Nothing too bad.
Traffic.
He's got held up by the AX, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't tell
So
which
that's what-
one.
Mini.
It's the 27 that's held him up.
Edmund.
Yeah. So 3 minutes to go.
Well,
We're also...
continue with what you
go on.
think.
Yeah?
Continue with what you're saying then.
Yeah, Megan knows nothing. She's not on the MotoGP this weekend, but she might be in areas like the sprint race, and it all depends, because she might be on the first 15 minutes of the Grand Prix, then come and start the Formula 1 pre-show and all that lot. But the one thing that I'm concerned about is that I think it's going to be another handover between me and her this weekend as to who's covering what. But we're trialling out in practice 1 for MotoGP. I'm going to be using Megan's laptop again because it's reliable, we know it works, and yada yada yada. During that session, I'm going to be testing the iMac to see if that works, and if it does, I can use that for the rest of the weekend. So we'll have like a... and it's a better camera as well, the iMac. Much better camera. Also, me and Megan can appear on the same time and having to kneel down.
Oh, Luke Browning.
Yeah, wide again. So that's
Yep.
if that's the case, then Megan can be on the call on Sunday. Easier. Is my point.
Yeah, that could be a bit fun. If hopefully she's able to. Smith up to 10th, but yeah, Browning nearly losing the car into the gravel and possibly into the barriers as the session comes to a close. Bogdanovic shedding a late lap as well, and Luke Browning will come across the line. Won't be able to find anything after that moment that he had at the Ascari chicane. Stromstead will. He goes up to 5th position.
Yeah, it's a... If I know where Stromstead, it's a 1:39.710. Not bad for a driver who's been thrown into a car last second, replacing Ollie Goethe. Reminder, it's the driver, not the car, that's in championship contention. Even though it's still running number 10, it cannot compete for the championship. It's not how it works. Defect goes 5th, Wirtz goes 11th, Bogdanovic across the line in the Prima now as well, goes up to 5th, Arvin Limban behind him, 11th Sophia Flörsch into 9th place, stunner from her here in the VAR. She's really getting used to this circuit quite quick. Gabriel Mini goes faster again, 1:38.687, Mansell's quick as well, but I think Sophia Flörsch definitely a surprise to me in this session up in P9. Now P10 as Solov goes second.
Yep, Solov up to 2nd position. Right now, a surprise for Sophia Flörsch to be up there, but it's exciting to see. Hopefully, she'll be able to continue that throughout qualifying. And both races as well, yellow flags are being waved somewhere on this circuit. Mansell's making his way through. We still have cars pushing in the 1st and 2nd sector. Mansell should be all okay, as he's going to make his way up towards the line now. Yellow's still out, so it's in sector 2, so wonder who's gone off.
Mansell goes top, 1:38.309. No sign of why we're cutting to the yellow flag at the moment. It's not down at Ascari, so it's down at Lesmo, I reckon, and that section of the circuit. Down the back straight towards the Parabolica. Boyer ahead of Zagazita. Still don't know what's caused that. Anyway, the lap times can start getting cancelled if they've gone through that yellow flag zone. So that might be the end of the session with Mansell top. Megatuniff goes second. How many of these lap times are going to stand? Boyer goes top. Clan Shields goes 6th. Zagazita goes 7th. How many of these are going to stand? Yellows
That
are
will be
out.
interesting to see. But luckily,
There.
they've got all the data they need, and Ramos.
Now, is that just cut off or is he spun? Look, he's shaking his head. The wheel... Well, hang on, look at the wheel, Omi. He's damaged it because the wheels turned left and he's facing the wrong way and he's in the gravel backwards down at Lesmo 2. I said it'd be down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Not where you want to go, especially at the end of the session. Let's see how he's done it.
Oh, there's a spark on before he turned in. Gets on that dust. That's going to be annoying, I mean. That's going to be so simple to do during the race as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And drivers dive bombing to you inside an F2. I can already see them all running wide here. and making contact. Typical F3 chaos, as Luke Browning also went wide, making his way through the Ascari chicane as well. But luckily, all was okay for car 14 of Browning, and Fornaroli, luckily, having a clean session there. Well, not really on the timing page, he's 27th, but he's got some data. He's got the data that he needs, and he'll be looking to bounce back in qualifying, but he absolutely cannot afford to be down in 27th when it gets to the 2 points for pole that are able to be won later on.
Yep, qualifying coming up at 1 o'clock today for the action there. Or is it 2 o'clock? I don't remember which one. I think it's 2. Yeah, 1:55 1 here for qualifying. So here's all the action then. It's Boyer, Mansell, Vozin, Megatunov, Mini, Solov, Shield, Zagazita, Boganovic, Dufek, the top 10 here. Followed then by Leon, Stromstead, Browning, Montoya, Flursh, Interprivazak, Smith, Lindblad, Traminitz, Loke, Verd, Stoon, Ramos, Wisnicki, down from Steinshaw, Eston, Follow-Oli, Van Hopen, Bedrin, and Kasper Suchtan in 30th position as well. I mean, last thoughts from you, because we've got to dive off now so I can go off to MotoGP, and you've got to prep for F2.
Yep, absolutely. Excited to be doing Formula 2 in a bit. Should be very exciting, and excited to be on Formula 3 qualifying later on. That should be very good and crucial in the championship battle.
Absolutely. Right, we'll see you later on from Formula 3 here at Monza. Bye for now.